beautiful people, this is Siren and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing this fun tag that I just recently came across. Now the tag as such is not so recent, to be fair, but yeah, I recently saw it and I thought it might be actually fun to do it, so here I am today filming this, yay! Okay, so the tag is called Tarot Collection Top Decks and it is originally created by 78 Puertas. I'm going to link their channel down below so you can go ahead and watch that. And the tag is basically consisting of these 21 questions, and for each question there is supposed to be a deck, you know, as like the answer. Now, I'm just going to say I'm going to be cheating a little bit here because, as you might know, if you've been watching my channel, my tarot collection is not as extended. Even though I realized with my recent Thoth decks acquisitions, it's kind of growing, but it's still not as big as some other, you know, tarot collectors' collections. So I am actually going to be bringing a few oracle decks into this tag as well. So I am sorry, but I'm just giving you a heads up that I'm going to be cheating a little bit here. Hope it's not an issue. Okay. Anyway, so make yourself comfortable and without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's look at some decks. So the question number one is, what was your very first tarot deck ever? So it's actually this deck. Now I don't have it in the original box, so I just keep it in this box that I bought for the deck. And I have a full video only about this deck. I'm going to link it up here. This deck doesn't really have a name, or at least, I don't know, it was just a tarot written on the box on this deck. Now, it is sort of like a hybrid kind of a deck. I'm saying hybrid because it doesn't really follow any of the traditional systems as such. It has some Rider-Waite-Smith influences. It has some Thoth influences, definitely, Marseille influences as well, and it's just overall strange deck. Now, the titles of the cards are in Slovak, which is my native language. I got this deck when I was a kid, when I was around, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, so yeah, I actually purchased this one in like a physical store. Again, I have the whole story about my story with this deck basically in that video that I linked up there, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch it. I also have this interesting sort of like anecdote about getting this deck, losing this deck, and then finding it again, sorry. So if you're interested in that, again, go ahead and watch that video. But yeah, I recently don't really read with this one. I basically just keep it for the sentimental value. And I kind of like it, it's just that I just don't read with it anymore. So yeah, that would be my first ever tarot deck. So let me put it back here and let me check the next question. The question number two, which is your most recent tarot deck? So my most recent tarot deck, I still keep it in this bag, even though I'm planning on changing this one because this bag is of this material that just catches all the dust and I'm not enjoying that. But anyway, my most recent tarot deck is Quintessential Thought by Lennon Smith. Now, these are the zodiac cards that I just usually keep aside when I read with this one. And yeah, so this is my recent acquisition, and it's, as the name suggests, it's the Thoth-based deck. It's very abstract, it's very colorful, very beautiful. Again, I have a full walkthrough of this deck on my channel. I'm going to link it up here, so you can go ahead and watch that if you're interested. So yeah, I'm still kind of getting to know this deck. It's been an interesting experience so far reading with this one, because this is the only completely abstract deck in my collection, but I'm really loving it so far, and I'm also a huge fan of Lennon Smith. So in case you don't know who that is, even though I think you do, because She's been on YouTube for quite some time, but anyway, I'm going to leave the link for her channel down below, so we can go ahead and watch that. And she also has like other interesting decks on her Make Playing cards, so you can, you know, check that out as well. So yeah, that would be the Quintessential Thought by Lennon Smith. Loving this deck, yay! So yeah. So then we have the next question, question number 3. Which tarot deck has the best colors? Okay, I have a very simple answer for this one, and it's not going to be a surprise, so sorry. But definitely my La Santa Muerte Tarot by Fabio Listrani. This is my favorite deck of all times. Of course, the devil's on the top because he just likes to hang out on my channel. Anyways, this is my favorite deck of all times. I also happen to have a full video on this one, linking it up there. It's a very beautiful artwork. It's very colorful. I really love colorful decks, even though I do have some like really dark decks, but I kind of prefer, you know, colorful imagery. And this deck is really uplifting, like generally uplifting. Now, as I said, I just love this deck. I love this deck so much. I also consider this one my travel deck, so I take it with me anywhere I go, and it's always nice and always uplifting. It always offers a lot. And of course, it's got these beautiful colors that I just like. I just love them. Look at the Death card, which is called Santa Muerte. Lovely. So there is that, and I'm actually gonna keep it here because the next question is actually what tarot deck has the best faces. And if you know me at all, I don't really have many decks with people in them. I don't like that very much. But when it comes to this deck, like there are skeletons, right? And the skeletons, the skulls actually usually appear to be, you know, smiling because they are skulls. So I would say this deck has the best faces because they appear to be smiling, you know, no matter what the situation or whatever. Oh, okay. Like no matter, okay, hold on. No matter the situation, they are just like smiling. And I would say, yeah, I would say that would be the deck with the best faces in them. So let's look at some more face. Hold on. Yeah, for example, this one. See? So happy. So beautiful. Yeah. Okay, I think now I can put the deck aside and we can proceed with the next question. So the question number 5, which is your largest tarot deck? Now, I was kind of deciding between two, and eventually I chose the Green Box Thought. So yeah, I have been featuring this deck a lot on my channel, but let's just look at it once more. Let's look at the Aleister Crowley, who, okay, just slide away. Okay. That was kind of epic. Yeah, anyway, most probably the large Thought, because this is, well, this is the large edition. Shuffling this deck is kind of tricky, but I found a way around it and I don't really mind the cards being so large. I know some people have like problem with it because they're like, oh, it's such a headache to shuffle, but actually if you find your way around it, it's actually not. You can get used to it pretty well. And I just, in terms of Thought deck, I really prefer the big cards because it's, well, one, it's better for study because you can see all the details in the Thought cards, and you know that Thought is actually full of layers, full of symbolism, and you really need to be picking up on, you know, details basically. And smaller cards, I would say, are better for someone who is already familiar with Thought, or someone who wants to, you know, have like a handy tarot deck, because this one is pretty chunky. But I love it. I love it. It's actually so beautiful. And I just love, you know, playing around with it and shuffling this one. Yeah, love it. So pretty. Now let me put this one aside, but I don't think I'm gonna be putting it in the box just yet. Yeah, spoiler alert, this deck will appear again. Okay, now the question number 6, which is your smallest tarot deck? Now this is where I'm gonna cheat, because my smallest tarot deck would be just this standard size, which is like the Santa Marta Tarot, as you could see, but I have one smaller deck than that, and it happens to be actually not even Oracle. It's this kind of a special deck that I keep in here, and it's called Magical Guidance Cards, created by Anna from Astrology Tarot. I'm going to link her channel down below. So this deck is actually meant to help you or aid you, you know, in your magical practice. Please focus. Okay. So it's not really an oracle deck. It's what the name suggests. It's magical guidance cards. It's something like, it's kind of like its own thing. You have photographs taken by Anna on the front, and then on the back you have like keywords, you know. So you can work with this deck in either way. Now, I'm so sorry, I'm not handling the camera frame well right now, but you get the idea, I think. So you got these keywords. You know what, let me just zoom in a little bit for this one. Probably better to see it like that. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, yeah, here we go, that's better. So we got these keywords, and the photos in the front. So yeah, what else? This is my smallest deck, and it's pretty funny to shuffle for me, because as I said, I'm kind of used to like bigger cards, you know, and one might say, or one might think that that shuffling smaller cards would be easier, but it's not. It's actually not, at least not for me, because I find these cards sometimes like flying around, you know, pretty easily, and it's like, ah, please don't fly. So yeah, love this deck, so gorgeous, and it's actually so helpful in magical practice. So yeah, definitely recommend this deck. Okay, let me zoom out again. Okay, and let's put the deck back in the bag. Now, when you purchase this deck, it actually only comes shrink wrapped, so this is why you kind of have to figure out sort of like a protection situation for it. The question number 7, what tarot deck has the best court cards? Now, this is the juicy one, and I'm super happy I can show you this chunky baby. Now, this is also one of my one of the biggest decks I own. It's the Nameless One Tarot and Oracle, actually. Okay, can you see? It's huge. Okay, it's extremely big, and this one, in terms of shuffling, this one is actually pretty. Okay, the devil in the front. I promise I did not do this on purpose. So this one is actually kind of a tricky thing to shuffle, because it's like it's so many cards. It's not just 78 cards. I'm not sure right now, but it's a big one. And yeah, but the question was which deck has the best court cards. So let me just quickly find you some court cards. I could have kind of prepared this. Okay, here we go. Every court card in this deck is this sort of like mask, and it represents a certain sign in terms of zodiac, you know. So let me just find another one. And yeah, as you can see, this deck doesn't really have names on it, so you kind of have to get used to it and basically, yeah, get familiar with the cards. So here's another court card. So as you can see, I find this like so interesting, and hold on, let's find some more court cards while I'll just talk about this one a little bit more. So where was I? I don't even know now. But I'm just like kind of mind blown by these court cards. Here is another one. Because these really gave me like some sort of a different, you know, understanding of court cards. Because when you put like the zodiac signs on them, it kind of like, it kind of makes you think of more things, you know. And yeah, the pages are all jesters. So, because, you know, there are 16 court cards while we only have 12 zodiac signs. So 4 cards are just these jesters. So you have jester of water, air, fire, and earth, and they kind of represent like the fire signs, water signs, air signs, earth signs, kind of like that, if you're following me. So here's another one. Oh, okay, and here we have another one. So yeah, this one is Libra, and it's the King of Swords, and I just love that. Really love it. So yeah, okay, here's another one. Yeah, this is the Scorpio card, but I'm not sure now which one would this one be. I'm thinking maybe I was gonna say Prince of Water. Okay, hold on. In terms of normal tarot, it would be the Knight of Cups, I believe, but not sure. But yeah, okay. I think this would be it. Definitely the most cool court cards I have seen in a deck, because it really broadened my perspective, and you know that's something I just love immensely. So, Nameless One Tarot and Oracle. Okay, let me just put it back here now. I actually put this deck back in like 2 pieces because it's handling this deck is a little bit hard, but I still love it. It's one of my most precious decks, and I've been using it on a daily basis back in the day, so there's that. And I also really love the box. I love when tarot cards come in these really nice boxes. Okay, so enough of that, but I really do believe that this deck deserves a lot of love and attention. I might be featuring it a little bit more on the channel because it's gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, proceeding to question number 8. Which is your most worn out tarot deck? Alright, so my most worn out tarot deck, that would be this one, the Wild Unknown Tarot. So this is the deck that I actually learned tarot with, and it's not like it's like super worn or anything. I mean, you can't tell, like it doesn't look damaged or anything, is what I meant. However, since I basically learned tarot with this deck, I've been using it a lot, and there are some parts of like on the sides of the cards that are kind of starting to show a little bit of being used, you know. And also the cards became like a lot softer than when I first got them. But I don't mind it too much, even though I used to be kind of precious about new decks. But eventually, when I see that the cards are okay, like getting used, you know, I kind of like accept it, and it's like, okay, whatever. And I love this deck. It's very nostalgic for me to see. Okay, so here in the Three of Swords, you can tell, see, there is this little thing in the side because of shuffling. I only overhand shuffled this deck because I would not, I would not bridge shuffle the deck, so this is why basically the sides of the deck are showing these signs of usage. But yeah, still love this deck very much, so pretty. And I have a very, again, sentimental thing with this deck. So, Wild Unknown Tarot. Again, I really appreciate the box and this ribbon, because I feel like decks just don't come like that anymore. And it's a shame, because it's amazing when decks would come like this. So, question number 9. Which is your most esoteric tarot deck? Now, I'm gonna just quickly get the thought back to the light, because there is just no question the thought is definitely the most esoteric deck I own. It's full of symbolism, it's full of layers. As I said, there is a lot, there is a tree of life included, there is a lot of astrology, archetypes, you know, there is just a lot going on in a thought deck. And it also comes straight from the Golden Dawn tradition, and also it's Crowley's deck. Okay, and if you know anything about Crowley, he was a madman, but a very knowledgeable one, and I really do think he put that into the deck, you know. So yeah, most definitely the most esoteric deck I have. Okay. Let's continue to question number 10. What tarot deck is the best one for shadow work? Alright, the best for shadow work, I would say, is this deck. Again, I don't keep it in the original box, I'm sorry. It's the... It's the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Vargo. And the reason why I consider this deck my most... the deck I use the most for the shadow work is because I consider this deck my inner teenager deck, and a lot of my shadow has to do with my inner teenagers. So yeah, basically when I want to like you know, dip into my shadow, it's usually my inner teen, and this deck connects with my inner teen like no other deck. So most definitely this one, even though I have to say that you can totally and most definitely use any deck for shadow work. It's not like only one deck can like get you there, but yeah, in my particular case, this is the deck that just does that for me, you know. It really brings me into that place of like my shadows, and also it's super gorgeous. It's very like vampire oriented, ghosts and angels and stuff like that, so I love it. I really love it. Yeah, beautiful Gothic tarot. Now I edged it in red, and you can tell like in this light it really looks like this blood red. Love it, so gorgeous. So the Gothic tarot. The question number 11, what tarot deck has the best bags design? So here I'm gonna cheat a little bit, because I don't really like my... Okay, no, it's not like I don't like my tarot deck's back designs, but there is not one that I would consider like the best or my favorite. However, there is an oracle deck that I consider has the most beautiful backs design, like from all of my decks collection, and the deck in question is Threads of Fate Oracle Lumen Edition. So I'm quickly gonna show you the backs because they are just gorgeous. Okay, the guidebook away. So look at this. Just look at these backs. They have this gold foil, the snakes, the eyes, these like diamond shapes, and like the background is this dreamy sort of situation. I just love everything about these backs. I love everything about these bags. I'm sorry I could not choose a tarot deck for that, because I went through my tarot decks, you know, but there is just not a deck that would do this to me, what this bag does to me. So yeah, and the deck is just gorgeous. I mean, I've been recently featuring it on the channel, so you have probably seen it already. But it's gorgeous, it's dreamy, it's very, it's just dreamy, okay? And I use it a lot for dream work, and here in this video you can actually see how the cards kind of change color depending on how you angle them. So it's just something I appreciate a lot. And the edges are kind of like gold, but not like shimmering gold, but like matte gold, something like that. But anyway, talking about bags, so definitely the most beautiful oracle bag that I have in my collection. Bag design. So yeah, Threads of Fate Oracle Lumen Edition. So pretty. Next question. Alright, the question number 12. What tarot deck has the best cardstock? Okay, so for this one I'm gonna have to go back to Quintessential Thought real quick, because this deck, you guys, I'm not sure what this cardstock is called, but I'm gonna just like, no, you can't see it in that one. Let's look here. It's not really papery. It's kind of like, I don't know what that cardstock is, but it's just, here you can maybe see. It's this, I don't know. Someone tell me what cardstock this is, but it's like, it's really slippery, which can be annoying, yes, sometimes when you're shuffling, but there's just something about this cardstock that I just love, because I don't really like papery cards. So yeah, this cardstock, it's great. I feel like I can read with this deck outside as well. You know, I'm not so scared to handle this deck, and also the shuffle is quite nice, you know. It's just yeah, it just feels good to me. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just sorry I can't tell you the name of the cardstock. I'm kind of not an expert in these terms yet when it comes to names of cardstocks, but definitely the quintessential thought. If you have this deck, please tell me if you agree with me, or if you are annoyed by this cardstock, or if you could tell by my close-up what cardstock this is. I don't know, but I love it. So, quintessential thought. Question number 13. What tarot deck has the best soft silky touch? Now, here I'm gonna cheat again. I apologize, but I don't really have a tarot deck with that kind of silky touch, but this oracle deck, the Living Altar Oracle, I mean, the cards are so incredibly soft. They are, I just love them. I love them so much. I often tend to say that this is my, kind of like my favorite, not really favorite cardstock, but I just love the feel of this. It's like rose petal finish. The cards are like incredibly soft. They are incredibly soft. Now, yes, I will say they are a little bit difficult to shuffle because also they are huge. I just realized this is another one of my huge decks. I could have shown you that as well in that question, like which one is my biggest tarot deck, but it's Oracle. So I did not want to cheat right off the bat. You know, I wanted to cheat like later. So yeah, so there is that. And as I mentioned, the rose petal finish, it just like, I wish you could just touch this. It's so smooth. It's incredibly smooth. I love it so much. So yeah, definitely Living Altar Oracle. So the question number 14, what tarot deck has the best sound when you shuffle it? I don't know how to answer this question. Maybe Santa Marta Tarot. I don't know. It has this, you know what, let's just shuffle it for a while. It has this kind of like really low sound, like, because the cardstock, you know, it's not papery, so it sounds like, I don't know if you can hear that. It has this really like smooth sound. Love it, yeah. I know some people really like shuffling papery cards. I'm not one of them, so there we go. Santa Marta Tarot yet again. Love this deck. In case I haven't said like 6 times. Dun, dun, dun. Question number 15. Which of your tarot decks is the most misunderstood? Now, sorry not sorry, but I have to grab my thought again. Yeah, this one is the star of these videos, right? But yeah, this is definitely the most misunderstood deck that I have. I feel like people are incredibly afraid of it because of Aleister Crowley. They are, they kind of like, they just stay away from the deck just because of the esotericism behind this deck. They think that this deck is somehow going to like ruin their life or whatever. And it's kind of crazy because I've been really loving this deck and my experience with it is not at all negative. So in case you're watching this video and you've been thinking about, you know, maybe getting a thought, but you are kind of worried and you are, you know, basically misunderstanding the deck, I would like to encourage you to just go for it, because it has a lot to offer. As I mentioned, it's really interesting. It's incredibly rich in symbolism, and it can teach you a lot. It can teach you a lot, and I think it just needs a little more love and patience and understanding, because the deck itself, it's just beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it's really powerful. It is, but not in a negative way. I think it's really a misunderstood deck. So, lovely thoughts. The question number 16, which is your most ancient tarot deck or the most historical? Now, I am gonna I am gonna bring another thought here, but this time I'm gonna bring my my latest gift, I'd say, which is my thought greenie. Hold on, let me just put the universal hexagram away. So, in terms of the system, definitely the thought, any thought deck actually, so the other one as well, because a part of being the only traditional, a part of it being the only traditional system that I have in terms of tarot, as you can see, I don't have a Rider-Waite-Smith, and yeah, a spoiler alert, no, you're not going to see Rider-Waite-Smith on my channel, in this video at least. Maybe someday, I'm not saying no, but right now I don't have it. And I don't really feel called to it. And I don't own a Marseille deck just yet. I'm on the market for it, but I haven't found one that would actually call to me. So yeah, that makes thought the only traditional system that I have. So, you know, it's historical in that way. And I chose to show you green in particular because this particular copy of thought is it's 1983 edition, so this is definitely the oldest deck that I have in my collection, and this deck was also previously read with by someone else, which is kind of crazy to me, and also beautiful, but it is the only deck, the only used and vintage deck that I have in my collection, and it's really special. Also, it's been a really special gift. So yeah, in case you haven't watched my video about how I got the greenie, I'm going to link it up here and you can go ahead and watch it afterwards. It's it's a really special gift for me, and I just love it. Okay, hello the devil again. So definitely this vintage greenie from 83. Yay! The question number 17, which tarot deck was the most surprising for good or for bad? So, for this question, I have a deck that you have not seen. Okay, it's over here. That you have not seen yet here, I think, or maybe in one video, I don't know. It's the lovely Om Tarot, and it's been surprising for different reasons. First of all, this deck is kind of its own system. It's its own thing, and it's surprising because I really thought I would connect with this deck a lot, because I love its imagery, I love its colors, I love that it has also like mermaid figures in it, which I really appreciate, and it's also it's also Hindu influenced, which is something that I'm really interested in. However, it's been surprising to me that I did not really connect with this deck in a way that I thought I would. And I'm really sorry to say that, because this deck is just beautiful. And yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what is it about it. But it's been kind of hard for me to read it. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't given up on it, and I'm not giving this deck away. Not at all. It just been kind of surprising to me, because I really thought I would click with it right away. It kind of felt like it in the beginning as well, like I've been really like clicking with it. But then for some reason it just became a little bit blurry to read with this one, so yeah, I guess that was kind of surprising. But I love this deck, it's incredibly beautiful, its artwork is just like from another world. And I love it, and I'm gonna continue trying to get it, you know. It's just that, yeah, it's been kind of a surprise to me to not bond with it the way I thought I would bond with it, I suppose. So there is that, yeah. The lovely Tarot. It actually comes with this lovely bag. It's actually so nice. I really hope we can bond eventually. So the question number 18. Which tarot deck has the best purchase story? Okay, I'm gonna have to bring my Gothic Tarot by Joseph Bargo here again, because okay, so I really wanted this deck, right? And I've been like eyeing it on Amazon. I had it on my cart and I was like, am I gonna buy this deck or not? Should I buy it or not? You know, because I'm usually very like discerning when it comes to purchasing decks. I don't just get decks on a whim, as I said a couple of times. So I really overthink getting my decks, you know. And so I had it on the cart and I was like kind of seeing, you know, the shipping cost, etc. And at some point I accidentally hit buy. And I mean, I know there is no such a thing like accidentally buying a deck, but I remember because I had my my information on Amazon, you know, on Amazon account, and it kind of went into, okay, like now you have to pay it. It's like it's ordered or something in those lines, and I was like, oh, okay, so I guess I'm getting the deck. And I know it's not like completely accident because I wanted this deck and I hit the, you know, order. I just I really wanted it, but I just couldn't bring myself to buy it until I accidentally bought it, and I'm so happy I did because, as I said, this is my inner teen deck and I really love it because it really reminds me of my inner teenager. Because for those of you who don't know, okay, it's like a random fact about me. I used to be really gothic, you know, growing up. So yeah, this deck kind of reminds me of that. It's like that part of me that still very much lives inside of me. It's just not so prevalent these days. But yeah, love the deck, and I love the accidental purchase of this one. And I would probably just do it again. So there is that Gothic Tarot. So the question number 19, what tarot deck do you always use for self-readings? Okay, the answer is all of them really. I use all of them for self-readings, so I don't have like one answer. Maybe I can tell you that lately I've been reading with my thought decks because I've been pretty much obsessing over thoughts. So yeah, so there is that. Yeah, I guess all of them, so yeah. So the question number 20, which is the most difficult tarot deck to be mastered? Okay, I have actually two decks to show you for this particular question. The deck number 1 is the Fortuna Tarot. Now I have the Obsidian Occult version, very beautiful deck, but it's kind of difficult to master because, hold on, you will understand in just a moment. It's one of the most difficult decks to master regarding my collection because it is a complete pip deck. It does not have any, it does not have any scenic images, not in court cards, not in major arcana, not in suits. It's only a pip deck. Now it's absolutely beautiful. It's incredibly gorgeous. I love this deck very much. And I specifically got this deck because I really needed a pip deck in my collection, because sometimes I get kind of overwhelmed with scenic imagery, and I really wanted to have a deck that would just allow me to, you know, just go into the realm of my intuition, if you will, without the limits of a scenic imagery. However, sometimes it can be kind of challenging because this deck also focuses heavily on astrology, and even though it's something I'm getting familiar with, there are moments when this deck is kind of challenging, you know. Yeah, it can be a little bit challenging depending on the day, you know, because I really wanted, I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do, it's really fulfilling the purpose I got it for, but it's just not my everyday deck. I really have to be in a mood to read with this one, even though, as I said, I love it immensely. And as usually, I have to say, can you see the beautiful pink foil? Every time I'm showing this deck, I just have to say it because it's gorgeous. It's incredibly gorgeous. Oh, okay, sorry. So, yeah, very beautiful, but kind of difficult to master if you don't read with it every day. And the deck number 2, which just a very quick mention, but definitely thought. Yes, I know. This deck, this video could just have been like about thought because I'm featuring it a lot, but I just have to mention it in this particular question because this deck is super difficult to master because of its many layers, because of its many esoteric layers. And as I said, since it focuses so much on astrology as the Kabbalistic tree of life, sometimes it can be kind of difficult to, you know, put these things together, like put this knowledge into an interpretation, and it can be overwhelming, rather. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, that would be the word. But it's not impossible, it just requires, you know, a lot of study. And it's actually beautiful, and this is why I love this deck so much, because it has a lot to offer. But it can be challenging because, yeah, in terms of symbolism and layers, there's just a lot happening in thought, you know? So, yeah. The last question, what tarot deck is the best overall? Okay, I know I just put the thought aside, but I'm gonna end this one with the thought because I've been just obsessed with thought lately, and I love this deck. I think this deck just has everything in terms of what a tarot deck needs to have. And I'm actually making this beautiful space here for another deck that I consider my best deck overall because I just can't betray it. I can't. And the deck in question is my Santa Muerte Tarot by Fabulous Rani. As I mentioned, this is still my favorite deck of all times. It just does it for me, you know. I love it so much, and it has to be here. So definitely my most... What was the question? Hold on. What tarot deck is the best overall? So I have two because I just, yeah, duality, and I just never can really pick like one thing in terms of like what is the best. I can't, just don't do this to me, okay? I have Libra placements in my chart, I can't. I need this balance, this harmony, and these two decks are my absolute go-to. I love them and they deserve this place. So yeah, definitely Thoth and Santa Muerte Tarot. So with these two decks on display, I'm gonna finish this video saying I really hope you enjoyed this tag. As I mentioned, the questions for the tag are down below, as well as the channel of 78 Puertas. Thank you so much for the tag. Thank you so much also for being here, for watching the video. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. It would make me really happy. I have more tarot and witchcraft videos coming, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I just hope you're having a lovely day. I hope to see you on the channel soon. And stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.